If you're considering doing an offer in compromise, I would urge you at a minimum to seek some professional advice as to whether or not you qualify for an offer. If you're convinced that you can file an offer in compromise, I more than likely within that 15, 20, 30 minutes will be able to tell you whether or not I feel as though you have a legitimate chance of getting an offer in compromise submitted and accepted. If you don't call me, maybe you call somebody else. Obviously the first phone call I would hope would be free, but what you want to know from these people, you want to vet them. First of all, how long have they been doing this? How many offers and compromises have they submitted? How many offers and compromises have they had accepted? What is their acceptance rate? For example, with myself, I have never had an offer in compromise rejected. I know what it takes to get an offer in compromise accepted, and I am never, ever going to submit an offer in compromise that I do not think has a very realistic chance of being accepted. Because you don't want to file an offer in compromise only to have it rejected and extend the statute of limitations by a year or two. Because people sometimes don't know this. If you file an offer in compromise, all the time while it's sitting there being worked on until a determination is made, plus 6 months, that statute of limitation is added on to the end of the current statute of limitations. When you do call another professional, you want to make sure they're licensed. Anybody can fill out the paperwork, but in order to see it from point A to the end are an attorney, an enrolled agent, or a CPA. Okay? Those are the only people that can negotiate with the IRS on your behalf and should be the ones doing all the negotiations once the offer in compromise is being worked on with an offer examiner or eventually appeals with the IRS. Secondly, I would want to make sure that the person I am talking to on the phone or I go to meet with is going to be the person actually handling the case. I'm not talking to a salesperson, I'm talking to the actual professional who theoretically knows what they're doing. If I have any questions, I deal with them. Last but not least, I would look at people's reviews, either on Yelp, Google, wherever you can find them, and see what those reviews have to say about this firm or individual. And within that referrals or references, do they actually have somebody you can speak to? Hey Bill, can you give me a client that you've helped in a similar situation similar to my own that I can actually talk to? That's not always going to be a case because most cases are unique in one way or another, but they should be able to give you somebody to talk to that was in a situation somewhat similar to your own where it can vouch for their experience and professionalism. If you want to contact me, you can go to backtaxexpert.com, fill out our contact form, or you can call anytime, 703-847-0757, ask for Bill Fritton, and I'm happy to spend 15 minutes, half hour going over your situation, no obligation, let you know what I think, maybe some possible outcomes, and specifically as it relates to an offer in compromise, whether I think you're going to qualify or not.